Hello and welcome. Transport fares operators in that regard in the country have agreed to adjust fares by 15% beginning Saturday. Of course, they conclude negotiations on the increment after a marathon meeting on Monday. The increment will affect shared taxis, intra-city, popularly known as trotro, and intercity transport. The drivers say the hike has been necessitated by the increase in the price of fuel and the economic hardship the country is facing, which has affected their work. Well, of course, we do have with us the Head of Public Relations. She's going to be joining us shortly, Imoro Abbas, to help us understand what really went into the agreement of the 15%, and of course, what's really going to have in terms of an impact on the cost of living moving forward. We shall have that for you as he joins us via phone shortly. But away from that, the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa is strengthening its mechanisms to reduce illicit financial transactions in the sub-region. The move will need an intense collaboration among stakeholders and members of the financial sector in the sub-region. According to Director of Economic Crime at the agency, Bunu Induka, he of course spoke to JoyNews as he opened a 3-day regional workshop for journalists on investigative reporting on economic and financial crimes.
As you may know, our region is going through a difficult period with regard to the health and security situations. ECOWAS member states, like the rest of the world, are suffering from the horrors of acts of transnational organized crime, in particular, migrant smuggling, drug trafficking, embezzlement, corruption, and other predicates of money laundering, which all fuel the violence and terrorist act in the region. This situation, with its dramatic effects on our member states, therefore justifies the involvement, commitment, and efforts of all stakeholders to prevent and combat the scourges underlying money laundering and terrorist financing. Dear delegates, in the year 2000, the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS established JIABBA in response to the adverse effects of money laundering on the economies of member states and to affirm its commitment to the global fight against money laundering and financing of terrorism. In this respect, a specialized institution, JIABBA, was created to assist its members by providing technical assistance.
At the event, the Chief Executive of the Financial Intelligence Center, Kweku Dia, charged journalists to take advantage of the training to develop interest in exposing illicit financial activity and money laundering.
This is why you have to constantly seek knowledge and sharpen your skills. As investigative journalists, the outcome of your investigations must at all times be without ambiguity. It is often said that a free and vibrant press is essential in a democratic society, but it is equally important that stories reported by journalists, and for that matter, investigative journalists, are accurate and substantiated with facts. This will go a long way to help the society. As journalists, as you know, you must not have just sources, but very reliable sources to help you do a good work. You should ensure that the story is not just to discredit someone, but to present the facts as revealed by the investigation. In other words, you should as much as possible take a disinterested position. So, Chairman, the focus of this 3-day workshop, I believe, is to help improve the quality and objectivity of the information investigative journalists present to the public.
Well, this afternoon, some concerned members of the National Inland Canoe Fishermen Council are calling on the National Fisheries Association to, as a matter of urgency, lead a roadmap towards the election of new national executives to the council. According to the disgruntled members, the tenure of office for the current executives has expired about a year ago, making them incompetent on the job. Addressing the press, the former secretary of the National Inland Canoe Fishermen Council said the concerned members, made up of fishermen who ply the occupation on the Volta Lake, are unable to access premix fuel for fishing purposes because the current leadership is unable to advocate for their interests.
We call on National Fisheries Association of Ghana, NAFAC, the national umbrella body for all fishermen associations in the country, to facilitate national meeting of inland fishermen across all the inland fishing districts in the country. That the outcome of such a meeting shall determine the way forward in constituting executives at the various organs from the community level up to the national executive and the council of elders level. The inland fishermen wish to inform all Ghanaians, especially the executive arm and government, the executive arm of government, the legislature, the judiciary, and the media, that currently the National Inland Canoe Fishermen Council has no recognized executives, that all concerned about the plight of the inland fishermen in the country should join hands with us to revamp the once vibrant association. We also want to let the nation know that because there is no national executive committee in place, the association is not able to do serious business with the government. For example, as we speak, the association has no member on the National Premix Fuel Committee.
Well, traders in the shea butter say sales have declined this Harmattan season compared to previous years. Though the severity of the Harmattan has declined in recent years, some traders say they're losing customers to chemically formulated butters. Love FM's Mona Lisa Frimpong has more in this report.
43-year-old Salamatu Abdallah has been selling shea butter since age 5. She has observed the severity of the Harmattan season declining over the years is a situation that has adversely affected her sales. Now, the highest profits she can record in a day is 10 Ghana cedis compared to the previous 50 cedis a day. But she is positive sales may shoot up the next season.
About one day now, almost it's soon to the year. And I'm saying, oh, you might talk around on your one city cry. No other than
this season's Harmattan was not severe. We made little sales.
A pepper dear to do. You told the doing the bit nanya. Bear 50 sidako crabit nanya. Say pen until I want 2 city. A pair of how we commit marathon.
There is a growing apathy among traders to venture into the sales of shea butter. The few who are still trading in the commodity in the central business district of Kumasi are dispersed. Salamatu says this trade requires patience.
And I'm saying, you're not for you now. You won't be on my phone. Obiano, what's meaning what could turn a Juman? No, it's my. And I'm saying any.
Many of my colleagues shea butter traders have stopped their trade. They say it is not lucrative.
The reduction in demand for shea butter can be due to decline in the use of raw shea butter for skincare. Whilst people say it darkens their complexion, others fear it causes acne. Though they testify of its authenticity, a number of people have switched to the use of chemically formulated body butters.
For me, I use the processed ones, but at first I was using the raw ones. I remember all the way from SHS to tertiary and even beginning parts when I gave birth. I was using raw butter for everything I was doing. It was okay for me, but then at a point, I think I used the process because people were saying, "Oh, shea butter there was the one that is being processed."
Personally, I do not use shea butter, but I use it on my kids.
Pimples break out on my face whenever I use shea butter.
But entrepreneur Michelle Apanga's case is different. The use of raw shea butter helped in treating her and her son's skin conditions. This made her venture into the business of adding value in processing raw shea butter.
Those who knew about the challenge I had would ask for, what's that thing that worked for the boy? And then that's how I started, because I was giving a whole lot of free samples out. So why not make something out of it?
Michelle is now a strong player in the cosmetic industry. She gives insight into how traders can better the shea butter trade.
Usually, it's the way they handle it in the market. You want shea butter, it's out there in the open. Water is sprinkled on it, bacteria is growing. You don't know what is in there. You use and slightly say, oh, maybe I use shea butter, I darken. But you have no idea how that is being treated, even how they package it in there. So it's education.
The shea butter industry has the potential to contribute to the economic and industrial development of the nation, especially with a wide range of industrial application of shea butter. So, developing the shea butter value chain will definitely create employment across all levels of the shea butter value chain. Reporting for Joy News, Mona Lisa Frimpong.
Hello and welcome. We now turn our attention to Ghana's animation industry, as a team of creatives are not just making this emerging market attractive to millennials, but doing so through bespoke telling of Ghana's political history. Today, Ghanaian production house Parable Studio, in collaboration with Animation Africa, will premiere the 28th February the Crossroads, an animated film on the Accra riots of 1948. Joining us is executive producer Samuel Korte. But before we enter into the conversation proper, here's a spoiler of the film.
Knew little about. They fought with a new little about. They fought valiantly and brought victory to their colonial masters. Back home, denied of their entitlement, they were forced into a life of hardship, one that will spur them on to unite, rise and march on to fight for what was theirs by right. February 28 was that day. Everything changed.
The final match is only tomorrow. Look on the brighter side. You will come back a different man. Oh, comrades! Be patient. Oh, comrades!
Far away in a foreign land.
Great. And for those of us who are wondering what the February riots of 1948 was all about, well, it was a protest march by unarmed ex-servicemen who were agitating for their benefit as veterans of World War II, of course, who were broken up by the police, leaving 3 leaders of the group dead. So, I mean, a little bit of history there for you. But congratulations, Mr. Korte, that you could pull this one off. What really motivated the team to go in for such a theme as the Accra riots of 1948?
Well, we thought that we need to capture a bit of Ghana's history, look at the areas where we haven't really touched. All that we do on 28th February is to lay wreath, have some ceremony, and that's all. But we believe that that was where history of Ghana, history of the political development towards independence, started. And we thought that if we have to start anything, it would be interesting to capture that. Now, the other thing too is that it was going to be difficult to do this in real action, where we have to recreate, the whole places, the Christianborg area as in 1948. That was going to be too difficult. And so and then when you use animation, it gives you the flexibility to do whatever you want to do. I mean, defy nature in your representation. And so we thought that let's start with something. And 28th we felt was going to be exciting.
Indeed, but of course it dovetails into this question about the animation industry and how it's really, working out as an emerging industry for the creative industry. How has it been so far?
Quite interesting. We've done 60 years.
60 years.
60 years of animation since we first started with content on Ghana television, late 60s. We've done a lot of advocacy, using animation to do advocacy, save water, environment, and all that. So in 2009, Parable Studios made the first edition of 28th February.
Impressive.
Yeah. And so 3 years ago, we came together, Parable Studios got some studios together, Animation Africa, Alex Vanaman, to remake 28th. And it has been exciting relationship so far.
Let's talk about commercialization,
yes,
because the money is all that matters.
Sure.
You could come up with all these brilliant ideas. We keep seeing Ghana's movie industry always have issues regarding finance. So how does the animation sector attract? Is it really attracting investment as we speak?
There is a lot of interest in funding. Quite a lot of interest in funding, but funding with the returns will come when it is with feature length. Short films and short sequences, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they won't bring the money. What will bring the money is when we go feature, when you are doing 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and interestingly, this is 55 minutes, and this is the first time we're doing this, and we're happy to partner Parable Studios in producing what would be Ghana's first feature-length animation. And we believe that the quality of work that has gone into it can be compared to any other production.
And I've seen that for myself on screen.
Thank you, thank you.
Are you looking at some partnerships with, let's say, Netflix and other international production houses?
We've had some interest. We've had some interest earlier on. Just before COVID, when we started talking about it, when we started pitching the ideas, we did have some interest coming up. I think that what they were waiting to see, what all these institutions are waiting to see, is to see if we can actually finish it.
Indeed.
Yes, and thankfully we have done it. We're not saying that we've done the best film, but we believe that we've done something that would bring in the investment. Something that if anybody was to put in money, he would make his profit.
Indeed. The Crossroads, when is it premiering, and why should anyone be a part of this momentous event?
Well, it should. Two things: history, remembrance, legacy. 28th of February, we're going to show it. The event actually happened on the 28th of February in 1948, and 28th of February 2022, we're going to have it at the Silverbird Cinemas in Accra. At 7 p.m. we're going to start showing. We'll have 2 shows. We're looking at other venues across the country. We want to make sure that we bring it to all the regions, and we're going to have a road show after that.
Of course, we're grateful that you could join us for this interview, but just before we leave, I want us to just roll out the spoilers once again so that our viewers could have an appreciation of this particular piece put together by Ghanaians. This isn't a foreign thing that you're watching. This is made in Ghana, as we come back for closing statements. Great. Well, Samuel, as we wrap up, what entered into the narration, into the plot setup, and of course the entire sequence of this?
Yeah. Well, I must say first, this is an all Ghanaian team created. We used people like Ajete and
30 seconds.
We used Ajete and Rhoda and some seasoned Ghanaian artists, because we wanted to have voices, and even for the voice of Emily, that was a Ghanaian.
Great. Great. So you've heard that for yourself. Make your way to the Silverbird.
Silverbird, yes.
Yes, on the 28th of February. This ends Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Many thanks for watching.